Hello students, how are you all? I hope all of you are very fine. So in any situation, the teaching and learning processes should not be stopped, isn't it? So we are teaching you through this channel. So I, Rajeshwari Shirkanhalli, welcome you all again at Nagesh Karasgi Orchid School. In our previous lectures, we started with chapter 4, that is structure of the atom. In that we have discussed about what is an atom, what are subatomic particles. Can you tell me what are the subatomic particles? Yes, they are protons, electrons and neutrons. Then we have discussed about different atomic models. We have also seen that how the electrons get distributed in any atom. Electronic distribution we have discussed, and at the end I introduced you with a new concept called as valency. So let us see what is valency actually. Let us explore about valency. So what is a valency? The electrons present in the outermost shell of an atom are known as valence electrons. You know that electrons are arranged in different shells, K, L, M, N, or different orbits. Now the last orbit, which is called as outermost orbit, in that outermost orbit, whatever the electrons are present, they are called as valence electrons. Okay? The outermost shell of an atom can accommodate a maximum of 8 electrons. So if 8 electrons get occupied in the outermost shell, then the atom becomes stable. If the outermost shell of an atom is completely filled, then the element is said to be inert and its valency is 0. Now some of the inert elements are helium, neon, argon, krypton, etc. So of these inert elements, the helium atom has 2 electrons in its outermost shell. Means the helium atom completes its duplet, and all other elements have 8 electrons in their outermost shells. Means other inert elements leaving helium, that is neon, argon, radon, krypton, xenon, etc. all these consist of 8 electrons in their outermost shells. An outermost shell which had 8 electrons was said to possess an octet. So what is an octet? If the outermost shell had 8 electrons, then it is called as that atom is possessing an octet. Atoms would thus react so as to achieve an octet in the outermost shell. So by achieving the octet in the outermost shell, they become stable. So for attaining the stability, they undergo reaction. They react. How do they react? Either by sharing, gaining or losing electrons. Now the number of electrons gained, lost or shared so as to make the octet of electrons in the outermost shell gives the combining capacity of the element. So this combining capacity of the element is called as its valency. So let us have a look at valencies of different elements. So these are the first 18 elements. Their symbols are given alongside the atomic number, then the number of protons, neutrons and electrons. How these electrons got distributed in different shells, that is in K shell, L shell, M shell and N shell are given, and finally their valencies. Now first look at the first element, hydrogen, whose symbol is H. It is the first atom. Atomic number is 1. So, the number of protons is 1. There are no neutrons in hydrogen as we have discussed earlier, and it has 1 electron. We have already discussed that atom as a whole is electrically neutral, means the number of protons and electrons are equal in any element. So, there is only 1 electron which gets occupied in the first shell. So, here K shell is the outermost shell and 1 is the valence electron. So, its valency is 1. The second example is of helium, symbol He. Its atomic number is 2. It consists of 2 protons and 2 neutrons. The number of electrons are 2. Both the electrons gets occupied in the first shell, means here the first shell, K shell, gets completely filled. That is why the valency of helium is 0. The third example is lithium, Li, with atomic number 3, 3 protons and 4 neutrons, 3 electrons. So, here 2 electrons go in the first shell, means the first shell gets completely filled. That is why the remaining 1 electron go to second shell, L shell. So, here which is the outermost shell? L shell. So, as there is 1 electron, means valence electron is 1. So, the valency of lithium is 1. Similarly, beryllium has 2 electrons in its outermost shell. So, its valency is 2. Next one is boron with 3 electrons in its outermost shell. So, valency is 3. Carbon has 4 electrons in L shell, valence electrons are 4. So, its valency is 4. Next is nitrogen, which is denoted by the symbol N. Its atomic number is 7, means number of protons are 7, neutrons are also 7, and it has 7 electrons. So, what is the arrangement? 2 and 5. Now, you must not be knowing that why the valency of nitrogen is not 5, why it is 3. Because after 4, when the valence electrons are 5, 6, 7, what they do? They try to complete their octet. Now, here there are 5 electrons in its outermost shell. So, it is short of 3 electrons to complete the octet. That is why the valency is 3. Same way, oxygen atomic number is 8. So, it has 8 protons, 8 neutrons and 8 electrons. How are these 8 electrons arranged? 2 and 6. So, this 6 indicates that it is short of 2 electrons to complete the octet. So, its valency is 2. Similarly, fluorine has 9 electrons. So, the arrangement is 2, 7. So, 7 means it needs just 1 electron to become stable, to achieve inert gas configuration. So, as it is short of only 1 electron, the valency is 1. Next element is neon with atomic number 10, 10 protons, 10 neutrons, 10 electrons. Arrangement of electrons is 2, 8. Here the second shell is also completely filled. Octet is completed. So, the valency is 0. Next element is sodium with 11 electrons. The arrangement of electrons is 2, 8, 1. Now, here the second shell is also completely filled. So, the remaining 1 electron go to the third shell, that is M shell. So, the valency is 1. Next is magnesium, 12 electrons, 2, 8, 2. So, there are 2 electrons. So, the valency is 2. Aluminium 13, 2, 8, 3. 3 is the valency. Same in the similar way, silicon 2, 8, 4. So, there are 4 electrons. So, the valency is 4. Now, phosphorus is having 15 electrons. The arrangement is 2, 8, 5. So, phosphorus has a different capacity. Sometimes it shows the valency 3 and sometimes 5. So it has variable valencies 3 and 5. Means sometimes it requires 3 electrons to complete the octet, so the valency is 3. Sometimes it just gives all those 5 electrons. So it gives variable valencies. Next one is sulfur with 16 electrons, arrangement is 2, 8, 6. 6 means it is short of 2 electrons. So valency is 2. Chlorine with 17 electrons, there are 7 electrons in its outermost shell, that is M shell, and it is short of 1 electron. So its valency is 1. And at last argon, which is an inert element. That's why it's all the shells are completely filled, 2, 8, 8. So the valency is 0. So you have to write down the electronic configuration of all these 18 elements and find out their valencies. Now after discussing about valency, let us see the next concept, that is atomic number. Let us see what is an atomic number. Atomic number is nothing but the number of protons in the atom, which the number of protons, they determine its atomic number. So this is the number of protons of an atom which determines its atomic number. Atomic number is denoted by a letter Z. All atoms of an element have the same atomic number. So whatever the number of atoms are there of one particular element, all these atoms have the same atomic number. Now for example, hydrogen atomic number is 1, because in hydrogen atom only one proton is present. So all the atoms of hydrogen have the same atomic number 1. In the same way, carbon atomic number 6, means it consists of 6 protons. Now where is the location of proton? We have already discussed that protons are present in the nucleus. Means in hydrogen one proton is present in the nucleus, whereas in carbon there are 6 protons in the nucleus. So the atomic number is defined as the total number of protons present in the nucleus of an atom. Now if suppose the number of protons are 7, can you tell me what is the atomic number of this element? It is 7, and the element is nitrogen. Just now we have seen the atomic numbers of first 18 elements. So the element with 7 protons is nitrogen and its atomic number is 7. Now after atomic number, the next concept is mass number. So let us see what is mass number. What is mass number? Mass of an atom is due to protons and neutrons present in the nucleus of an atom. We have discussed that mass of the atom is concentrated at the center, means it is concentrated in the nucleus. Why it is so? Because nucleus has protons and neutrons, whereas electrons revolve in the extranuclear part, means they revolve around the nucleus in discrete orbits, and the mass of electrons is negligible as compared to the mass of protons. So the mass number is nothing but it is the total number of protons and neutrons present in the nucleus of an atom. Hence protons and neutrons, these two are present in the nucleus, so they are called as nucleons. Why protons and neutrons together called nucleons? Because their location is in the nucleus. Now let us see some examples. First is mass of carbon. It is 12 units. Why? Because it has 6 protons and 6 neutrons. So if you add these 6 protons and 6 neutrons, you will get total 12 units, which is the mass number of carbon. Similarly, the mass of aluminium is 27 units. So how we get 27 units? Because aluminium consists of 13 protons and 14 neutrons. Just add these both the numbers, 13 plus 14, you will get 27. So the mass of aluminium is 27 units. So let us define the mass number. The mass number is defined as the sum of the total number of protons and neutrons present in the nucleus of an atom. Now we have seen the electronic configuration of different elements while deriving their valencies. In that table you have seen the number of protons and neutrons present in each element. So by using that data, that is number of protons and neutrons, you are going to find out the mass number of first 18 elements, that is from hydrogen to argon. Now how the atom is noted? In the notation for an atom, the atomic number, the mass number and the symbol of the element are to be written as like this. So here you have to write the symbol of element, and at the top, that is in the in the left corner at the top, you have to mention the mass number, and to the left in the down you have to write the atomic number. Now one example is given, nitrogen. The symbol for nitrogen is 7, its mass number is 14 and its atomic number is 7. So you can write down like this the names of all the elements, means you can show their notation, write the symbol of those elements, find out the mass number as I have just told you, and atomic number is already given in that table. Then write down all the elements right from hydrogen to argon in this way. Now let us see what are isotopes. Isotopes belong to same elements, but they exist in different forms. So because of the difference in their mass numbers, we get different isotopes. Isotopes are defined as the atoms of the same element having the same atomic number but different mass numbers. So what are isotopes? They belong to the same element. So they have same atomic number, means they have same number of protons, but they are having different mass numbers. So why there is a difference? Because of difference in the number of neutrons. Just recall, just now we have seen mass number means protons plus neutrons. Same atomic number means same protons, as atomic number is nothing but the number of protons, and different mass number is due to the difference in their number of neutrons. Now for example, there are 3 isotopes of hydrogen. So in hydrogen atom we find 3 isotopes. They are named protium, deuterium and tritium with mass numbers 1, 2 and 3 respectively. Means mass number of protium is 1, mass number of deuterium is 2 and that of tritium is 3. But the atomic number of each one is 1. Means each of these protium, deuterium and tritium consist of only 1 proton. Then tell me, what is the number of protons in protium? 1. And what is the number of neutron? 0. Means protium doesn't have any neutrons. In the deuterium mass number is 2. So you know that proton is 1. So what is the number of neutron? 1. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. And whereas the third isotope is tritium with mass number 3. So protons is 1 and plus there are 2 neutrons, that is why the mass number is 3. Similarly, carbon has 2 isotopes. Which are those isotopes? 12 and 14. So, carbon exists in 2 isotopic forms with mass numbers 12 and 14. Chlorine has 2 isotopes with mass numbers 35 and 37. Now, the chemical properties of isotopes of an element are similar, but their physical properties are different. So, isotopes of one particular element show similar chemical properties, but they show different physical properties because of the difference in the number of mass numbers. Let us see the isotopes of chlorine. Chlorine occurs in nature in 2 isotopic forms with masses 35 unit and 37 unit. Which ratio they are present? They are present in the ratio of 3:1. Means if suppose there are 3 molecules of chlorine with mass 35 unit, then there is only 1 molecule of chlorine with a mass of 37 units. If an element occurs in isotopic forms, then we have to know the percentage of each isotopic form, and then the average mass is calculated. So, once if we know that in which percentage each isotopic form is present, then we can find out average mass. Now, for example, let us find out the average mass of chlorine. So, 35 into 75 upon 100. So, what is this 35? That is the first isotopic form of chlorine into 75. The percent of this isotopic form is 75%. As we have seen here in the ratio, it is 3:1, means 75% is to 25%. So, this isotope that is having 35 as mass is present in 75%, plus the second isotope of chlorine is 37 unit. It is present in 25%. So, 37 into 25 upon 100. So, here you can do the cancellation. 25 3s are 75 and 25 4s are 100. So, 3 into 35 is 105 divided by 4, plus simplify this also, 25 1s are 25 4s are, then you will get 37 divided by 4. These both the numbers are having equal denominator. So, directly you can add their numerators. So, 105 plus 37, the whole divided by 4. So, what is the sum of 105 and 37? It is 142. So, 142 divided by 4. So, if you divide this 142 by 4, you will get 35.5 unit, which is the average mass of chlorine. So, you have to practice this in the same way. If you know the different percentages of different isotopic forms, then you can find out their average mass. Now, let us see the applications of isotopes. Applications means where these isotopes are used. First one is an isotope of uranium. You know what is uranium? This is the element with atomic number 92. So, this is the last naturally occurring element. So, do you know this isotope of uranium is used as a fuel in nuclear reactors. So, in nuclear reactor, the fuel is of an isotope of uranium. So, that is the first use. The second one is an isotope of cobalt, that is cobalt 60. it is used in the treatment of cancer. So this shows that isotopes have applications in medical field also. So an isotope of cobalt is used for treating cancer. The third one is an isotope of iodine. So where it is used? In treatment of goiter. You know what is goiter? It's a throat disease. So the throat gets swollen as there is lack of iodine. So an isotope of iodine is used for treating goiter. So these are some of the applications of isotopes. Isotope of uranium is used in the nuclear reactors as a fuel. Isotope of cobalt is used in the treatment of cancer, and an isotope of iodine is used in the treatment of goiter. Similarly, we use an isotope of carbon in carbon dating. Do you know what is carbon dating? It is finding the age of trees, age of fossils, etc. For that, an isotopic form of carbon, that is carbon 14, is used. So these are some of the applications of isotopes. After isotopes, the next concept is isobars. What are isotopes? They belong to same element, they have same atomic number, but there is a difference in their mass number. We have seen that the difference in the mass number is due to the difference in the number of neutrons. Now let us see the last concept of this chapter, that is isobars. So what are isobars? These are the atoms of different element. Just remember, isotopes were the element of same element, and whereas isobars are the atoms of different elements with different atomic numbers which have the same mass number. They are called as isobars, means they belong to different elements, so their atomic numbers are different but their mass numbers are same. Now for example, calcium and argon. So the atomic number of calcium is 20 and its mass number is 40. So how the mass number is 40? Because of presence of 20 neutrons. So 20 protons plus 20 neutrons makes mass number 40. And whereas the atomic number of argon, argon is completely a different element than calcium. What is the atomic number of argon? Just now we have seen in that tabular form, we have discussed the structures of argon. The atomic number is 18, but the mass number of argon is 40. So why it is so? Because here the number of neutrons are 22. So 18 plus 22 makes 40. That is, the total number of nucleons is the same in this pair of elements. So what is the difference between an isotope and an isobar? Isotope means these isotopes are of same element, so they have same atomic number, so same chemical properties, but the difference is in their mass numbers because of difference in neutrons. Whereas isobars means these belong to different elements, so their atomic numbers are different, means their chemical properties are also different. Just now we have seen an example of calcium and argon. You know, calcium is a metal and argon is an inert gas. So the properties are totally different. Why? Because they belong to different elements, but their mass number is same, means the number of nucleons is similar. Why the number of nucleons are same? Because nucleons are nothing but the addition of the sum of protons and neutrons. So there is a difference in the number of protons, but after adding neutrons we get the same number of nucleons in these two. So, this is about isobars. So, we have discussed all the important points of the chapter. We have seen in the beginning about disadvantages of Dalton's theory. According to Dalton, atom was indivisible, but different scientists said that atoms are divisible. Different scientists gave their different atomic models. In that we have seen about J.J. Thomson's model, Rutherford scattering experiment, then Niels Bohr's model of atoms. We have discussed the discovery of electrons, protons and neutrons. We have seen that protons, electrons and neutrons are called as subatomic particles. What are subatomic particles? These are the particles which are present in the atom. Protons and neutrons are present in the nucleus of an atom, whereas electrons revolve around discrete orbits outside the nucleus. Then we have discussed about the distribution of electrons in different shells. So, electrons gets arranged stepwise, shell to shell, orbit to orbit. Unless and until the inner orbit gets filled, no electrons go to the outer orbit. Then we have discussed about isotopes and isobars. So, all of you are going to learn these all the concepts, practice the electronic configuration of different elements, draw their structures, find out their valencies. All this you all are expected to do. I hope so. Your all the concepts are clear. Thank you.